Welcome to Same Spit, Different Face TV. Well, my opinions is facts, and if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast. And it's free. So don't forget to spit on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification. If you clicked on this video to hear about Diddy motion for a new mistrial, I need you to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And to my cinema cronies, drop the flex emoji in the comments. Now, Diddy team of lawyers has filed another motion for mistrial, and they're citing prosecutorial misconduct. So essentially they saying that CASSIE and the other witness colluded together, and they basically put some things that either they knew or the prosecutors knew or the prosecutors should have known that was untrue inside of it, which sits for perjury and a mistrial. Attorneys of Sean Diddy Combs have moved for a mistrial in the trafficking, this second such request within 2 weeks. The 55-year-old music mogul's defense team made the latest request after claiming prosecutorial misconduct in a June 7 letter to the judge. The defense claimed in the letter obtained by that the government has presented testimony that it knew or should have known was materially false related to his allegations that Mr. Combs dangled Brianna from a balcony at CASSIE's apartment in 2016. According to avoid an unfair conviction in this case, the court should grant a mistrial. The defense team continued. Combs' legal team then claimed that testimony from Ventura, 38, in which she stated that she saw Combs dangle Brianna from a balcony could not have been true, as text records allegedly show that Ventura learned of the alleged incident after the fact. The incident, as alleged, is disturbing and powerful evidence, and the government has used it to depict Mr. Combs in an extremely negative light as an angry and dangerous man who terrifies Miss Ventura and her friends. The defense team continued, which also stated that Ventura's account of the incident is demonstrably false. I hate that word. The defense team also claimed that the prosecutor then presented photos of the injury sustained by Brianna as a result of a balcony incident that were allegedly taken on September 26, 2016 in Los Angeles. The defense stated that the prosecutors knew or should have known that the testimony was perjured, as the government has long known that Combs was in New York City between September 24th to September 29th of that year. The defensive team further claimed that the prosecutor repeatedly attempted to disrupt the defense line of questioning when the defense attempted to expose the perjury upon cross-examination. All of this was highly improper and exacerbated the harm caused. The perjured testimony. Combs' legal team stated before adding that the balcony incident is just one example of prosecutorial misconduct during this trial. The first move for the mistrial from Combs' legal team occurred at the end of May after prosecutors asked Los Angeles Fire Department arson investigator if fingerprint evidence related to the bombing of Kid Cudi's car had been destroyed. Prosecutors also asked about who might have authorized the destruction. Combs' lawyer argued that the line of questioning could potentially imply the idea that Combs could buy his way out of trouble. They were trying to plant that idea in the juries, and Mr. Combs authorized this, defensive attorney Alexandra Shapiro said at the time. So basically what we're looking at is this definitely should be a mistrial. Now, will it be a mistrial? I highly doubt it, just because the LA prosecutors, the feds, they spent so much money on this case already. And a lot of times they put judges on these high profile cases who have strong personalities, I want to say strong conviction, and don't fold to public opinion or public fodder, whichever you want to call it, right? Because at this point, it should be a mistrial based on the fact that not only did she lie, CASSIE lied on the stand, and then not only did she put in her motion that it happened in LA in 2016, the prosecutors already knew that Diddy wasn't in LA in 2016. So if you have previous knowledge that somebody is not somewhere and you add that as part of your case, And when we look at this case, man, is Diddy did Diddy have some problems with domestic abuse? Yes, but it does not appear that they're proving sex trafficking. What it appears is that they're trying to prove that Diddy may have been controlling. They're trying to prove that he's been abusive. They're trying to prove that he's powerful and say, well, since he is all of these things, this is why these other things was happening. And that's not how it's supposed to happen, but that's how it happens sometimes. But when we look at this case, even if he don't get the mistrial, I feel like however much time people think that Diddy is gonna get or supposed to get, I think he'll end up getting out much earlier than that when they file the appeal. So like I said, a strong judge is usually put on high profile cases, so he can't be swayed by public opinion to call a mistrial or to drop things off. But if he was doing what was right, he would definitely call a mistrial. And then all the prosecutors will have to do, unless he calls a mistrial with prejudice, but then all the prosecutors will have to do is go look at the information and come back and retry him. But if I'm the judge, I would call a mistrial with prejudice where they couldn't come back again and try to try him again. And what's the reason behind that? Because after this happens, what ends up happening is that a lot of times the prosecutors, the DA, whoever it is, they get upset that you got away. And so they bring back a new trial, but then they start bringing in new people and then they take evidence out. So essentially they get a chance to make their case stronger the second time around and probably get a conviction based off of the way they present the case the next time around, and even getting a chance to select a new jury. The one thing that ended up happening that was very interesting to me is that what's his name? I can't even remember his name right now. He in that movie Russ, which I actually watched and it was a good movie. Alec Baldwin. He ended up shooting that lady and killing her because a prop master ended up handing him a gun that was loaded, and the prosecutors ended up keeping some Brady information away from him, which ended up causing a mistrial on day one of his trial. So I think a lot of times it's based on how the judge perceive you, how they look at you. So when a lot of y'all look at Diddy and y'all see that Diddy in court and y'all saying that, oh, Diddy looking bad, Diddy got gray hair, Diddy looking tame, Diddy got grays in his beard, that's on purpose. The lawyers want Diddy to look as fragile and as harmless as possible. You got to remember, they coming in there saying, yo, he did this, he did that. And a lot of times when you sitting in front of that jury, it's about the image of how things look. So if somebody come into court and say, oh, Diddy was a monster, he was using his influence, he was doing this, he was doing that, and you think about 2016 to 2025, that's like 9 years ago, right? But when you look at Diddy, you see that he looked frail, you see he got all his gray hair, you see that he kind of looking a little worried. He's saying that, oh, I'm a little afraid. When the judge asks how he feeling or whoever, he said, to be honest, I'm a little nervous. All of that type of stuff play into the jury, where the jury may hear all these things, but they look at him now and say, nah, he can't be that dangerous no more. So it's all a show, a lot of it. But will he get that mistrial? I highly doubt it. Should he get the mistrial? Yes, he should, based on the prosecutor's line. And that's just a part of the Constitution. That's how the law written up. But a lot of times, like I say, they don't care about what the law say. They just care about keeping that. They don't want public outrage. That's why the YSL case went on for so long. It should have been stopped. They should have been had a mistrial for it, but they didn't want it to keep going on. If you're new to the channel and want more celebrity and hip hop content, hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the subscribe button, you're a part of the Spit Squad. So hit the like button and post squad in the comments. And for more Diddy trial videos you may have missed, go to the Diddy playlist in the end screen. Check out my original Chicago hood movie in the end screen, No Time to Play Fair. If you into sneakers, you a sneakerhead, you love seeing the new Jordans, Pumas, whatever it may be, subscribe to Kicking It with Fair Play 2333. If you trying to follow me on my basketball journey, my weightlifting and fitness journey, and also be inspired to get back on your fitness journey, subscribe to Fair Play, Flex, and Fadeaway. Also, any of these pages I just named, you can also find them on TikTok or Instagram.